Okay, you're all gonna need to buckle up because it's been a crazy past few days. There is so much to get to, including updates on the absolutely unhinged and non-stop attacks on the Haitian population in Ohio, RFK Jr. apparently being investigated for decapitating a whale, and more. But let's not waste any more time and get started with what is obviously the biggest story of the week. There was another assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. This time taking place on one of his own properties, the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida, just miles from his home in Mar-a-Lago. Here are the basic facts that we know so far as of when we filmed this. After posting "I hate Taylor Swift" on his personal social media platform, Trump decided, that's enough for me, I'm gonna take the rest of the day off. And he was playing around a golf when his Secret Service detail spotted a man with a rifle in the bushes around 400 yards away from where Trump was playing, and that was because they were sweeping the area ahead of his golf game.
So they shot at the suspect who ran from the scene. Police caught up to him about 50 miles north of the golf club, and he was arrested without incident. The suspect, now known to be 58-year-old Ryan Ruth, has so far been formally charged with 2 felony counts. One for possession of a firearm by a prohibited person because he is a convicted felon, and another count because the firearm he possessed had an obliterated serial number, which means it was scratched off or altered with the intention of making it untraceable. Okay, so now let's get into some of the details of the would-be shooter. First and foremost is that, according to the investigation, he was not within the property itself. He was on the other side of a fence, hiding in the bushes. He fired no shots and was intercepted before Trump had made his way to the location where he was hiding, which means, in this scenario, unlike the previous attempt in Pennsylvania a few weeks back, the Secret Service actually did their jobs.
Yeah.
And did them to the best of their abilities, because it turns out they've been saying for 8 years now, Mr. Trump, sir, please, can you just play at the golf courses that all the other presidents play at instead of the ones that you own? Because those ones are a lot harder to secure.
Also,
because they're just sort of facing the highway, and like anyone could just walk up to a fence and they can see right through.
Yes. During the press conference on Monday, they indicated multiple times that this was an unscheduled trip by the president. He just decided to go to the golf club. So it is next to impossible to properly secure an area when there's no schedule that would lead them to be able to do that.
It's also, this is 2 times now where the first guy is just like, I feel like shooting at someone. Who's in town right now? What's available? Oh, the president. Or, oh, Mr. Trump. And then this one's just like, I'm just gonna take a gun down to Trump's golf course and like
just wait around.
And just, and then what luck?
Both of their politics are completely...
Yeah, they're both the absolute cranks.
Yeah. Now, as for the gunman himself and how he was able to get so relatively close to Trump, the gunman's a whole can of worms. We will get to that in just a second, but it's important to point out that Trump's club, it's just a golf course that is within a city, meaning that there are city streets going around the entire perimeter. It appears as though this guy just parked somewhere, walked into the bushes until he could see the golf course. Simple as that.
It's kind of a minor miracle that this doesn't happen all that
crazy.
often.
Now, it's reported, based on cell phone data acquired during the preliminary investigation, that the suspect was hiding there for around 12 hours. So the assumption here is that he probably knew that Trump was at Mar-a-Lago and correctly assumed that he would want to play golf at his closest course eventually, and so he just had to sit around and wait long enough.
Damn.
He was eventually spotted by the Secret Service when they were doing their advanced sweep a few holes ahead of where Trump was playing.
So now on to that suspect, 58-year-old Ryan Ruth. And like we said, this guy, he's all over the place, mentally and politically. First of all, yes, there is no doubt that this was a failed assassination attempt. Investigators found a rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks that were lined with ceramic tile, and a GoPro, which we assume was for filming the attempt. And no, this guy absolutely in no way should have been in possession of a weapon, not only because it's clear he's got mental health issues, but also, like we said, he is a convicted felon who has a history of run-ins with the law, including an arrest from 2002 where he was charged with possession of a weapon of mass destruction. A nuclear weapon? No,
it was a machine gun.
It was a machine gun, a fully automatic machine gun, which, like, hard to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is America, and getting your hands on some guns, it's incredibly easy, thanks to our patchwork of laws and regulations that vary from state to state, as well as the ability to simply buy one from literally any person willing to sell one to you because there's plenty to go around. Posts from his Twitter account, as well as an ebook that he self-published on Amazon, detail his bizarre and inconsistent political beliefs.
He voted for Trump in 2016, but then later regretted it. Then he turned into a never-Trumper who most recently supported Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy, but also made donations to Act Blue during the 2020 presidential election. Now, throughout his 4 years on Twitter, he would also send tweets to people like Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, current President Joe Biden, and even pitched song ideas to Bruno Mars and the Dave Matthews Band at one point. At Dave Matthews Band, we need an emotional tribute song for Ukraine as support stalls. I have lyrics and music to We Are One to rally global support. Please help me. I live near Jack Johnson, and I am sure he will help. Please.
Yeah, apparently he's from Hawaii.
He's not from Hawaii. He lived in Hawaii most recently. His home base is North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a big Ukraine guy.
Yeah, as you'll see, big Ukraine is quite the understatement.
Which is, I don't know, if you spend enough time on Twitter, like I do, yeah, the people who really care about Ukraine, yeah, that is a subcategory of people that I'm not surprised to see someone get super radicalized over because, yeah, most people are pro-Ukraine, but the people who make that like their whole identity, it's a weird bag.
And then,
of words.
as we'll get to, travel there and try to help out with their military.
Yeah, but all of this information about this guy's views, from his tweets to his ebook, are focused on that one thing, the war in Ukraine. He seemed to have been an avid supporter of Ukraine to an extreme level, claiming multiple times to be willing to fight and die on behalf of Kyiv, and spending a ton of time trying to recruit others to the cause. And he eventually did travel to Kyiv back in 2022, but he was rejected from military service. So he just attempted to recruit other supporters. The Wall Street Journal quoted a humanitarian volunteer who knew Ruth in Ukraine regarding his recruitment efforts, who said, "That was his main task that he assigned to himself. He wasn't officially assigned by the armed forces of Ukraine. It was just kind of his personal mission to do so."
And he apparently tried to negotiate arms deals and recruit members of the Afghan military to come fight in Ukraine.
That would have been one hell of a weird team up.
Also, I believe when they were like, no, he went to negotiate with like Taiwan to be like, I've got these Afghan militants who are ready to go. Whoever needs help.
I can see where his logic came from there, because the Afghans when
the Taliban took
famously defeated the Soviets in a war that in many ways led to the collapse of the Soviet Union. So if anyone knows how to fight Russians, it's those Afghans over there. And yeah, they're the Taliban. But you know what they can do? They can fight Russians. Maybe we could use a few of those Taliban fighters over in Ukraine.
Stop putting your mind in the mind of this
I'm
crank.
just like, of all the things that this guy is about, like this one, I'm like, I definitely see the logic. I'm kind of surprised no one else has thought of this before.
Yeah. But the guy was nuts. He was seemingly detached from reality based on his prior offenses and the idea that he himself could alter the course of history by single-handedly providing Ukraine the support that it desperately needed to defeat Russia. Now, after all of that failed, he moved to Hawaii, reportedly opened a shed building business, and eventually decided to try and alter the course of history by trying to assassinate former President Trump.
It's also wild. He is 58 years old. Like, hello, I'm here reporting for duty. Send me into battle.
Yeah. Now, for his part, Trump, who was completely unharmed, was taken into a secure area where he would later complain about not being able to finish his round of golf while reportedly cracking jokes about the whole ordeal.
All right.
Now, despite his seemingly jubilant reaction to this latest attempt, I do want to quote a recent piece written by one of my favorite authors, Luke O'Neill, who is smarter and far more poetic than me. He wrote about Trump and the realities of living in a country where guns are readily available to almost anyone who wants to have one. He writes in part, "Well, it seems that the man who has encouraged more stochastic terrorism than anyone else in the past decade now has to constantly look over his shoulder everywhere he goes for the rest of his life. That can't feel good. You wouldn't want to feel like that. Although, I guess we all do in our own American way, thanks to people like him. The thought creeping in every now and again that this might be the day. It might be, at long last, our turn." You should absolutely subscribe to his newsletter, Welcome to Hell World. I'll put a link in the description.
It's an especially, ironic hell of his own making because,
he can't have any thoughts about regulating guns in any way.
Well, and it's not even just that. I don't believe he really cares about the gun issue. I think that is one of the many things, like the Bible, that he just sort of had to adopt in order to fill this role. But like, the man fucking lived in Manhattan his entire life. I don't think we've never even seen a photo or video of him firing a gun. Like, I don't think the Second Amendment is that important to this man. I think he's just like, fine, I'll promote your Second Amendment for you. But, and I'm sure after 2 near misses, he's probably like, yeah, it is kind of fucked up that anyone can buy a gun.
But he can't say that because he would lose all of his support.
Yeah, which has got to suck, because at least if you're like ideologically into the Second Amendment, you can sort of hand wave it away. But I don't think he is.
Yeah.
So, sucks for him, I guess.
But,
oh well.
Yeah.
But back to the story. In the wake of this most recent attempt, there have been no shortage of accusations from conservatives that this guy was somehow, clearly, a Democrat. Despite plenty of evidence that he was just sort of all over the place politically and simply hated Trump after Trump failed to live up to his expectations. And reactions from others in positions of influence and power are more unhinged than we could have ever imagined, including a recent statement from J.D. Vance, where he asks liberals to tone down the rhetoric, despite spending the last week or so just demonizing the shit out of an entire group of people for something they didn't actually do.
Mm-hmm.
And we got more on that.
Yeah.
And we've also got some coverage of Elon Musk coming up, where he reacted to this news in just your expectations, they're low, and he somehow manages to always surprise you. But let's enjoy this one moment first of some hilarity. Writer Abby Olcease was waiting for a flight while this news was being reported, and just so happened to be sitting next to an expert in presidential assassination.
That's right.
Here you go. I'm sitting next to a Lincoln impersonator at the airport bar. He's watching MSNBC reporting on yesterday's assassination attempt. This is easily the most surreal thing I've ever witnessed.
And it's not like he
looks like Abe Lincoln.
I know. It's not as if like he was half-assing it.
No, he is not even just the beard. He's got the build. He's got the bone structure.
Everything.
He was born to impersonate Abraham Lincoln.
His reaction is just, it's
like a real life, like, political cartoon.
Yes. It's like the New Yorker drew this up. So, but now on to, unfortunately, Elon Musk, who always slithers his way into the discourse to provide the dumbest, most incendiary takes imaginable. This time, it would appear as though Musk went way too far with his posting addiction because he was either probably forced, or personally chose to delete a tweet that was so unhinged, it nearly tops his recent post about wanting to impregnate Taylor Swift.
Why won't the advertisers come back?
And we want to be very clear here. We are about to read something that was posted by public figure Elon Musk. We absolutely do not, nor have we ever endorsed anything this man has ever said.
RT's no equal endorsement.
And we are simply reading this because it is newsworthy and vital to the coverage of this entire event, because he is, like it or not, an influential person who not only operates a large social media site, but also has defense contracts with the United States government. Shortly after news broke about a second attempt on the life of the former president, Elon Musk posted the following on his public timeline above a tweet from the Doge Designer account, who initially asked why they want to kill Donald Trump. Elon quote tweeted that and added, "And no one is even trying to assassinate Biden/Kamala?" adding a thinking emoji to the end there to indicate that this was somehow suspicious.
Masterful gambit, sir. Yeah, the fallout from this tweet was instantly severe, with even Elon fanboys commenting that it was clearly a bad idea to post such a statement. And he eventually deleted the post, either because he realized it could easily be interpreted as a threat, or because he'd gotten pressure from investors,
or the most likely option,
he probably, almost certainly got a call or a visit from the FBI or
Secret Service.
Just some federal agency made sure to let him know that, buddy, you can't. Yeah, they take this shit seriously, especially when it's from a guy who's broadcasting this message to millions of people. And according to a lot of people who are familiar with how this works, they're like, yeah, he 100% got a visit from the feds over this.
Yeah.
But in any case, it was deleted. And after deleting the post, he explained why he posted it in the first place. And his explanation is just so telling and bleak.
Yeah.
Basically, he said that he was joking and that everyone loved his joke when he said it out loud. but maybe it didn't look so good on the timeline. Yeah, you think?
Ah!
Also, dude, take this as a hint that you are surrounding yourself with yes men who simply exist to make you think that you are the smartest and funniest person on earth, because if they don't, you'll fire them or drop them as friends. It's not a reflection of how your jokes will play in real life.
Yes, these people who surround you are going to tell you that you are funny, intelligent,
That's
and
so funny,
amazing,
Elon.
because their livelihoods probably depend on
Elon,
it.
that's so funny, but this one you actually shouldn't post because it's so good. You should keep it with you should keep that joke with us because it is like the funniest thing I've ever heard. But like, please, Elon, sir, can you just keep it in the friend circle?
The reality of him, and I don't want to repeat it, but the reality of him saying that statement out loud and people laughing at it is
it's
so
not
bizarre.
It's not a joke. It's not structured like a joke.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for the love of God, please allow for some introspection, you absolute rube. Here were the follow-up tweets. Well, one lesson I've learned is that just because I say something to a group and they laugh doesn't mean it's going to be all that hilarious as a post on Twitter. And turns out that jokes are way less funny if people don't know the context and the delivery is in plain text.
What's the context?
He really is the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. What context makes your original tweet hilarious? Please, sir, we are all waiting very patiently to hear the context of your first tweet that somehow differs from the news that people were witnessing in real time as you were posting. Also, again, the people in the room who laughed at your joke, they're doing it because they don't want to lose their association to whatever power you still hold. That, and they are disturbing freaks because there is no joke in the tweet, no matter how you read it. I mentioned in a video a week or two ago that Elon should be removed from his role at SpaceX at least. And that is an extreme position to take usually. But especially after this and the past few weeks in general, I firmly stand by that statement that he should not be in any kind of control over that company in particular. Now, in response to Musk's recent tweets, Wired published an article stating plainly that Elon Musk is a national security risk. Here are some quotes from that article.
Where things get dicier for Musk is his role as a major contractor for the U.S. Department of Defense and NASA. According to Reuters, SpaceX signed a $1.8 billion contract in 2021 with the National Reconnaissance Office, which oversees U.S. spy satellites. The U.S. Space Force also signed a $70 million contract late last year with SpaceX to build out military-grade low Earth orbit satellite capabilities. Starlink, SpaceX's commercial satellite internet wing, is providing connectivity to the U.S. Navy. NASA, meanwhile, has increasingly outsourced its spaceflight projects to SpaceX, including billions of dollars in contracts for multiple trips to the moon and an $843 million contract to build the vehicle that will take the International Space Station out of commission. The U.S. government's heavy reliance on companies controlled by Musk has repeatedly raised the hackles of national security experts. Concerns at the Pentagon came into stark relief last September after Musk denied Ukraine's request to enable Starlink in Crimea, a disputed territory bordering Russia, so it could launch an attack on Russian troops. Starlink was not under a military contract when he denied the request. In response to previous Wired reporting, Musk asserted that Starlink was barred from turning on satellite beams in Crimea at the time because doing so would violate U.S. sanctions against Russia.
Elon Musk's October 2022 acquisition of Twitter, now X, had some experts worried about the national security risks it could pose to the US, given his business relationship and communications with the Chinese government, his alleged outreach to Russian President Vladimir Putin, which Musk has denied, and Saudi Arabia's continued investment in Twitter following Musk's buyout. Others raised concerns that China may have leverage over Musk due to his relationships with Beijing related to Tesla, his electric car company that has a factory in Shanghai. The most concerning aspect of Musk's post is its potential to further inflame extremist threats in the US, says John Lewis, a research fellow at George Washington University's program on extremism, who calls the post merely the latest example of right-wing incitement that has become concerningly mainstream in recent years. That the owner of a major social media platform and US government contractor is opining on the assassination of political opponents should be alarming for Americans across the political spectrum, Lewis says. He warns that culture war narratives and thinly veiled racism have already had effects on the real world, which could be exacerbated by the far right's willingness to answer calls to arms. Quote, "These extremists are waiting for the justification to engage in violence," he says, and rhetoric like this provides the perfect excuse.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, and also weird that I don't understand how J.D. Vance can have a straight face and say that liberals need to tone down the rhetoric.
Yeah, buddy.
The calls are coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway, folks, we do have to take a break to thank today's sponsors before we get into the second half of the show. So here you go. This episode is sponsored by Shopify. You probably already know them. You probably already love them. It's Shopify, the best platform for shopping, hosting your own business, and keeping track of all of your shipments in one place. There are a ton of amazing duos out there in the world. We're a perfect example. But the best duo is, of course, Shopify and you. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business, from the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow.
Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify has got you covered. Shopify helps turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, up to 36% better compared to other leading commerce platforms. No matter how big you want to grow, Shopify gives you everything you need to take control and take your business to the next level. We love Shopify's simple and easy to use app because it keeps track of all your online shipments. You can even connect to other platforms so your tracking is all in one place. And just today, I was like, where is this package, these shorts that I bought? It had been like 2 or 3 weeks, which is very long this day and age. And sure enough, it gave me an update, and then like the next day, it was like, this item's being delivered today. Boom.
Thank you, Shopify.
Yeah.
Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's extensive help resources are there to support your success every step of the way, because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/itdaily, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/itdaily now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/itdaily.
This episode is also sponsored by HelloFresh.
Hello!
With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. We all know home-cooked meals are so much better for you, but you don't always have the time to pull it off. With HelloFresh, handling all the meal planning, shopping, and most of the prep, it's easier than ever to get dinner on the table quick and painless.
No more endless recipe searching or spending money on a whole jar of spices for only a pinch. With HelloFresh, everything you need to make delicious meals comes right to your door, pre-portioned and fresh. Plus, the included step-by-step recipe cards make cooking simple. There's always new flavors to explore with an ever-changing menu of 50 recipes to choose from every week. Just pick your meals and your delivery date. It's that simple. Choose from a variety of menu options to suit all your needs and tastes. From fit and wholesome to quick and easy, or vegetarian or family-friendly, there's something for everyone to enjoy.
We are big fans of their quick and easy meals, especially the bowls. Fantastic.
Love a good bowl.
For us, this is a pretty busy time of year, so HelloFresh's quick recipes really come in clutch when there isn't a ton of time to cook. And on next week's menu, they've got sweet chili pork with cabbage stir fry or sun-dried tomato spaghetti. And look, that's a great way to spend 20 minutes in the kitchen. Now, you can also get breakfast, and for free breakfast for life, you can go to hellofresh.com/free ITD or click the link in the description. One free breakfast item per box while that subscription is active. That is free breakfast for life just by going to hellofresh.com/free ITD. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
All right, back to the news now. And this was probably going to be our main story today if it weren't for that assassination attempt. But now it's time to give you an update on what's been happening over in Springfield, Ohio, over the past week, including some absolutely bizarre statements from Vice Presidential candidate J.D. Vance on the Sunday morning news shows. It is hard to actually figure out where to begin or where we actually left off, but as you're aware, we covered this story and we debunked it before Trump ever even mentioned it during the debate. But after Trump uttered the now infamous line about Haitian immigrants eating the cats, eating the dogs, eating the pets in Springfield, there was a nonstop effort to retroactively prove that these statements were true, despite the claims originating from a Facebook post, retold by someone's neighbor's daughter's friend, then regurgitated by actual Nazis, white supremacists, and J.D. Vance. What followed has been absolute chaos for the residents of that small town in Ohio, with reports of harassment, intimidation, threats, and vandalism that have succeeded in the goal of terrorizing the people who are there legally and call this city home.
These folks have been harassed to a point that would cause anyone to crack, and it's safe to assume that the intention here is to induce a physical reaction from one of the Haitian residents so that it can be used as justification for another attack. The fact that they haven't retaliated in any way shows a lot more restraint than either of us would be able to muster. This is insane. Here's just a sample of what's been happening there since conservative weirdos and both members of the Trump campaign decided to target this town after repeating demonstrably false rumors about its immigrant population. On Friday morning, multiple local schools in the Springfield City School District, including an elementary school, were evacuated and closed down after receiving bomb threats, which also targeted local government buildings. According to the city, an email that was sent at 7:21 a.m., quote, targeted several city commissioners and a city employee. A second email at 7:45 a.m. targeted several schools, as well as the Bureau of Motor Vehicles and the Ohio License Bureau's South Side. All affected buildings were evacuated, according to the city.
So the schools and even local universities have also made the decision to go remote for at least the next few days until this hopefully cools off just a little bit. Wittenberg University announced Monday that all classes and most operations will be delivered remotely until at least Sunday, September 22nd, and on-campus activities and events are canceled. Welcome back to school. The university said it received new threats Monday on the heels of multiple threats of violence over the weekend, some of them specifically targeting the Haitian community. Wittenberg officials said the threats continue to be assessed by Wittenberg police, local law enforcement, and the FBI. So far, none of the local threats has been found credible, but they have upended school days, work days, hospital operations, and more, as police go through the process of making sure there's no danger. And yeah, you heard that last part right. It wasn't just schools and government buildings. Hospitals were also targeted with bomb threats, which obviously had an effect on their ability to treat patients and deliver necessary health care to them. Great job, you fucks.
In addition to the general threats, members of hate groups like the Proud Boys and the fucking
The
KKK,
literal Klan! The Klan is in town.
The KKK, they've reportedly shown up in town to intimidate the residents as well. And people were posting photos of flyers that were put up around town, just sickening stuff. From the Daily Mail, the far-right Proud Boys descended on Springfield, Ohio, as Donald Trump doubled down on his promise to visit the town at the center of pet-eating rumors. Members of the group were spotted marching amid reports that the KKK has been distributing recruitment leaflets in a town that has been hit by a wave of bomb threats directed at schools and colleges. Around 20 members of the Proud Boys, some seen carrying flags and placards, were seen in video and photos posted to social media. Oh, and side note, over the weekend, one of the initial images that helped spark all of this outrage was also debunked. The image of a black man holding two geese in Ohio that appeared to lend credence to the whole pet-eating claim, despite geese not being what most people would consider a standard pet, that was all bullshit too.
Yeah, there was like two sides to the story here. It was like, first of all, they're kidnapping people's pets, but second of all, they're
stealing geese.
They're going
and
down to
ducks.
the park and they're slaughtering geese. And yeah, there was a picture of a man, like, I don't know, some man somewhere at some point carrying what appeared to be some dead geese. And it's like,
there you go.
There you go. Checkmate. But yeah, TMZ reached out to the Ohio Division of Wildlife and, turns out the photo was taken after the geese were hit by a car in a city nearly an hour away from Springfield. And the man in the photo was moving them out of the road. No one knows what he did after that. He might have just dropped them in the grass, but that doesn't even matter because he didn't kill the geese. A car did. This happened in a completely different city. It happened almost 2 months ago, and yeah, there's no confirmation that he is either Haitian or even an immigrant.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's their reporting. The wildlife org clarified to us you usually need a statement or receipt from the county sheriff or wildlife officer to claim an animal carcass, but the Franklin County Wildlife Office tells TMZ that for geese, you don't always need a receipt. So the guy was totally in the clear to have them. Okay. Also, we're told there's no evidence the man is an immigrant or Haitian or had plans to eat the geese. They make it clear that the whole story is just being blown out of proportion thanks to Trump's comments this week and his fans amplifying the narrative online. Bottom line, officials aren't worried about this issue, as dealing with nuisance geese is a standard practice. People are perfectly fine to hunt them too, apparently, as long as they have the right permits and licenses. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool. If a goose gets hit by a car,
those are yours to keep.
that goose is fair game, folks.
Yeah.
You
Also,
can take that goose home. You can have yourself like the kind of feast that Ebenezer Scrooge would have on Christmas morning.
yeah. Also, the woman who initially sparked these baseless rumors via Facebook has now claimed that she is filled with regret about that post.
Good.
And admitted that she has no evidence to back up the claim and has seemingly apologized for participating in all of this. Here's NBC News. The woman behind an early Facebook post spreading a harmful and baseless claim about Haitian immigrants eating local pets that helped thrust a small Ohio city into the national spotlight says she had no firsthand knowledge of any such incident and is now filled with regret and fear as a result of the ensuing fallout. It just exploded into something I didn't mean to happen, Erica Lee, a Springfield resident, told NBC News on Friday. NewsGuard, a media watchdog that monitors for misinformation online, found that Lee had been among the first people to publish a post to social media about the rumor, screenshots of which circulated online.
The neighbor, Kimberly Newton, said she heard about the attack from a third party, NewsGuard reported. Newton told NewsGuard that Lee's Facebook post misstated her story and that the owner of the missing cat was an acquaintance of a friend rather than her daughter's friend. Newton could not be reached for comment. Lee said she never imagined her post would become fodder for conspiracy theories and hate. Lee said she pulled her daughter out of school and is now worried about her safety with so much attention on her family. She's also concerned for the safety of the Haitian community, which she said she did not intend to villainize en masse. I feel for the Haitian community, she said. If I was in the Haitians' position, I'd be terrified too, worried that somebody's going to come after me because they think I'm hurting something that they love, and that, again, that's not what I was trying to do. Well, at least she feels bad.
I don't. Then what was the point of the post? It's like you were demonizing a group of people, but I'm happy she has regret about it, and maybe this will change her outlook on life in general, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, this will. Next time you think before you post.
Yeah. But back to the general claims about this and the problems that it's caused to the people of this small town. Everything came to a head on Sunday morning when vice presidential candidate and senator of the state where this is all taking place did the rounds on a few of the Sunday morning talk shows to attempt to clear the air on all this, and accidentally admitted that they might have intentionally made all this up as a way to demonize immigrants. He's so fucking bad at having any conversation at all that he slipped up and admitted that it's not true, but that it doesn't matter that they're lying and causing chaos.
The fact that you believe me really says a lot about society and about Haitians.
We'll try to play the clip here, but if it gets copyright struck, despite being newsworthy, we'll read the transcript as a backup. Here's an attempt at the clip.
The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to, create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana.
You just said that you're creating a story.
Public policy.
Sir, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you created. So the eating dogs and cats thing is not accurate.
Dana, it comes from firsthand accounts from my constituents.
Okay.
I guess it's completely fine to go ahead and spread this nationally.
Cool. Very cool. God.
So there you go. And honestly, even before he made this comment and other comments on shows like Meet the Press and his Twitter account, the past week should absolutely be a disqualifying moment for any politician, especially one who might become vice president of the country and someone who is currently at least partly responsible for terrorizing a town in a state that he represents. But speaking of actual weirdos who actually desecrate the corpses of animals, much to the apparent delight of the Republican Party, RFK Jr. has now indicated he's under federal investigation for decapitating a beached whale and driving its detached head across state lines.
This is like how they got Capone on tax evasion. They got RFK Jr. on animal desecration.
Yeah.
We couldn't get him for all the blatant fucking lies he spread about vaccines and autism and whatnot, and literally directly contributing to the comeback of old diseases and the deaths of children, but we got him on something else.
It was this past weekend or recently, Biden met with a woman whose husband killed their son and killed himself.
I read that whole,
they had differing views on vaccines.
The article is wild. I believe it was in the Atavist about a year ago, but people were posting it in the replies to this news. And I read the whole thing on Sunday morning, and it ruined my day. But it was just a story about a woman marrying a guy, and that guy just slowly going down a fucking rabbit hole of conspiracy bullshit, and eventually getting divorced, and then murdering his son because his wife wanted him to get the COVID vaccine.
But to the RFK Whale story and the investigation, here's NBC News with more on this. This is just one, by the way, of many RFK Jr. animal corpse sagas. So here's the latest on this one.
Got a lot of skeletons in his closet.
He wasn't lying.
Animal skeletons.
He wasn't lying. If the skeletons in my closet could vote and they were humans.
Yeah. I didn't say they're human skeletons.
Yeah.
Former independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said Saturday he is being investigated for collecting a whale specimen.
Specimen.
I received a letter from the National Marine Fisheries Institute saying they were investigating me for collecting a whale specimen 20 years ago, Kennedy said during a campaign event for former President Donald Trump in Glendale, Arizona, noting that he received the letter this week. Woo! Hey guys,
woo!
Who's excited about President Trump? Anyway, just a few quick updates about what's going on with me. So yeah,
I'm under investigation.
Remember the whole whale story? Yeah, I did do it.
And by the way, if you didn't hear about it, now you'll go search for it.
Okay. Kennedy said that he responded in a letter baselessly linking the National Marine Fisheries Service with whale deaths and calling for the agency to investigate. This is all about the weaponization of our government against political opponents, he said.
What?
I would have totally gotten away with breaking the fucking law and stealing a whale corpse if I wasn't a threat to their power.
And also, they should investigate themselves because it's probably them that's killing all the whales.
It's literally a crime. I don't know how you spin this. You're not allowed to do this.
He also took it across state lines.
Yeah, you can't steal a fucking dead whale off the beach. You just can't. You definitely can't cross state lines.
Now, if it were a goose, that's different.
Don't get mad at us. Get mad at your daughter for telling the fucking news about it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then get mad at her for briefly dating Ben Affleck before he apparently got back with J-Lo.
That is, I don't even want to get into that, but that is, it's so messy that I actually am hooked on this drama now. I'm just like, yeah, go nuts. This is so crazy.
I 100% get it. It is crystal clear to me. Some people, when you're dating, that's when the passion is.
Yeah.
And then the more settled down you get, it's just sort of
you
boring.
lose the spark.
And if you just keep, so they were dating in the early 2000s, and then it just got more and more serious, and they're like, all right, I'm over it. They got back together years later, like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then gradually they get married, and it's just like, all right, whatever. And then they get divorced, and they're like, oh, well, now if we date, this is something new again. So I think they just have to keep dating and getting divorced over and over again, just to keep the passion alive.
Or, conspiracy hat, it's a psyop to take attention away from everything else. Hey guys, I know we're all focused on a lot of big issues right now, but have you heard that J-Lo and Ben, despite getting divorced very recently, are back at it again?
I mean, you can.
I know, I'm literally joking. But
anyways, back to Robert F. Kennedy and the dead whale. Mm-hmm. So Kennedy did not go into details about the whale incident, but his daughter had previously described a situation involving a whale that took place 30 years ago. Was it 30 years ago? I guess when she was a kid, yeah. She told the story 10 years ago. And okay, whatever. Yeah. His daughter, Kathleen Kennedy, 36, described in a 2012 article for Town & Country magazine how when she was 6, the timeline checks out, her father used a chainsaw to cut the head off a dead whale that had washed ashore and bungee corded it to the family's car during their drive home. And yeah, that's why there's no photos of this. If this has happened now, obviously every car on the road. But back then, people weren't driving around with a fucking
There might be some
camera.
film somewhere they need to get redeveloped because someone's got to take out a camera for that.
Yeah, there's got to be a roll of microfilm somewhere.
Yeah, so there were a few more things that we did want to get to today, but we'll sum up a few very quickly. Amidst the ongoing, very strange relationship between Donald Trump and white nationalist podcaster Laura Loomer, Loomer was reportedly banned from traveling with the former president and is, at the very least, no longer allowed to fly on his personal aircraft.
She's standing outside of his airplane with a boombox.
Yeah. Please, I miss you. In addition to that, rumors have been flying.
They're just rumors at this point.
Yes, regarding a romantic relationship between the two, which is obviously disgusting to think about, but also wouldn't surprise anyone at this point. Most of these stories are coming from a very generally unreliable source, Milo Yiannopoulos, so we're not going to go into the details.
Well, I mean, listen, I felt the same way, but Milo recently...
He was right about Kanye.
He Babe Ruth the fucking Kanye one. He's like,
Still.
Kanye's on nitrous, and people were like, okay, you're Milo Yiannopoulos. We can't believe anything you say. And then, boom, 100% vindicated.
These are just rumors, and they will remain that way until we hear further. But what an October surprise that would be.
See, the reason I don't believe it is...
she would not be able to keep her mouth shut.
Well, that's what he's claiming that
she did tell someone, yeah.
Telling everyone. But what I don't think she's Trump's type.
I don't know. Oh, another side story that we didn't cover, but Donald Trump Jr., who is engaged to Kimberly Guilfoyle, was...
Oh, yeah, he's apparently cheating on her.
He was just making out with someone in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, also, during a recent interview with Megyn Kelly, the editor-in-chief of conservative outlet National Review finally did what many conservatives have seemingly wanted to do for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
He said the N-word. Hard R and everything.
Yeah.
Despite later claiming that it was a mistake. And
it was a big oopsie.
Listen, it probably was a slip of the tongue. But it's incredibly easy to just not say the N-word on accident, ever.
Yeah.
Unless you say it privately from time to time.
Then it could slip out.
Because, yeah, the way it slipped out was there it was. And it seemed like it was at the forefront of his brain when he uttered it instead of the word he was trying to say, which was migrants. Yeah. That's not a slip of the tongue that I've heard anyone ever say.
I was referring to the Colorado Rockies baseball mascot Dinger. Everyone just misheard me.
So his explanation, which I find somewhat plausible, is that he got his wires crossed saying migrants and immigrants. And
the worst crossover of all time.
When you do cross those over, and you know how that happens, when you have two words collide on your tongue, I mean, it can come out sounding like that. That's all I'll say.
Just wild that it happened, and we can't even show it because it would get us struck.
And believe me, I am not defending Rich Lowry.
No.
I fucking hate this dude. I've been a Rich Lowry hater for like going on at least a decade because he was in the conservative chair of KCRW's Left, Right, and Center for like several years. And every time I would listen to that show and he was on it, he would just, God, he fucking irritates me so much. The National Review type of conservatives are almost more annoying to me than the MAGA types because they got this really like buttoned up, like I'm an intellectual, but it's the same shit. They believe all the fucking same shit. They just, they want you to think that they're classy. Anyway, he may have said the N-word. But he, like many other conservatives, was drumming up more chaos relating to the Haitian population in Ohio when he uttered the word. We can't play it for obvious reasons. It is a slur, maybe, but there is a link to the clip in the description below. You decide.
Yeah.
Watch the clip and let us know what you think.
And also, this is the end of the video, so please press the like button, tap it, slam it, do whatever you need to do, rub it lovingly. It'll shoot things off. You love to see it. Everyone enjoys clicking the like button, don't you? Click the like button, leave a comment, get a conversation going, reply to a comment down there, and be sure to check out our previous videos, including Weekly Weird News, if you are just hungry for more Laura Loomer drama. The Loomer Hoovers, what they're calling it. And we also have another video from last week. We'll see you soon for some tech news.
Bye.
Bye.